be with you. First of all, I would like to know, do you speak English? Nobody has answered. So I think that you don't. So today we're going to talk about the advantage of being bilingual. So let me start by sharing the screen with you. First, I would like to know you can see the screen that I'm sharing with you. Okay, let me start by telling you a little about what is being bilingual. But first, I would like to let you know some words that are very important to know before too deep in that topic. What is a language? It is a system of communication based upon words and the combination of words into sentences. So we talk about language, we're talking about words that are able to transmit a message. So if the words are not ordered in the correct way, so they're not going to be able to transmit any message. For example, if I say, even in Spanish, viene el toga. So three words, maybe you understand perfectly the meaning of the words, but the word doesn't make sense. So something important when we talk about language is the combination of words into sentences. Because we speak through words, then phrases, after phrases, we will with sentences. But the words must have a meaning. Then after having meanings, when you place the words together, they must make sense for you. So that's very important to know when we're talking about a language. Then we have communication. Human beings, and that's something that we can clarify it and be very careful because human beings can communicate with each other. Okay, but we are the only one who has the capacity to exchange knowledge, belief, opinions, wishes, threats, comments, tents, promises, and declarations and feelings. So human beings, we are the only ones able to speak a language. Maybe not to communicate because according to some scientific studies, some animals can communicate too. But to exchange knowledge, belief, opinion, wishes, to say something, human beings are the only ones who have the capacity to do it. Okay? You can say, Miss, but the chimpanzee or the parrot can repeat. They repeat. They don't think and then they're not able to answer a question. Maybe you say a parrot say hello, it will say hello. But you ask a parrot, what's your name? The parrot is not going to be able to say Polly. So for that reason, it's very important that communication, this type of communication is only for human beings. Then we're going to talk about different type of terms that are very important to know when we're talking about a second language. First, mother tongue. A mother tongue is the first language that learns when you are a baby. So the language that you learn when you are a kid, that is called a mother tongue. And then we have the other one that is a second language. But a second language is a language that you learned in a school. So mother tongue is the tongue, that's why it's called mother, because it's the tongue that you learned with your family, with your main family, your mother, your father, they teach you how to speak. For example, here in El Salvador, a mother tongue is Spanish, it's not English. Okay, so that's very important to know. Then we have another topic that is a foreign language. A foreign language is a language originally from another country than the speaker. So imagine I speak Spanish. If I'm speaking right now English, that's my foreign language. Because my mother tongue is Spanish, it's not English. So that's very important to know what is a foreign. But there is a difference between foreign language and a second language. A second language is any language that a person uses other than the first or native language. So a second language is a second language that I can speak. But there are some difference between a second language and a foreign language. According to contemporary linguistics and educators, we use the term LY, that means first language. And then we use the term L2, that means second language. and or a foreign language that is being studied. So for example, here in El Salvador, in the public school, they study a foreign language, not a second language, because if you want to say that something is a second language means that you're able to speak the language almost the same level that a native speaker. So you must be careful with those terms. Then we have the question, what does it mean to say somebody is bilingual? The topic for today is bilingual people, okay? The advantage of being bilingual. So a bilingual person is someone who speaks two languages. First, let us clarify that a bilingual speaks two languages. Can be English and Spanish, Portuguese and Spanish, Portuguese and English. It depends on the language that you're able to speak, but two languages. And sometimes they call multilingual. But multilingual is a person who speaks more than two languages. So be careful with the terms, okay? Then we have the word being bilingual. Let us take apart what that means by. By means two, like bicycle, like bicultural, that means two. So by means two. So we're talking about that by means two, so means two languages. And then what is lengua? It's the Latin word from ton. Ton means language. Therefore, a bilingual is someone who is able to speak two languages. Okay? So you can see the dictionary definition says bilingual, speaking two languages fluency. Means I can say, for example, perro in English and dog in English. But that's not make you bilingual because I know two words in Spanish. Means I know that pencil y lápiz. Yes, you are saying two words, but you're not bilingual just because you know the two meaning of the words. Now, bilingual is go beyond, okay? But if you're bilingual, what happens in your mind if you are bilingual? First, you have two linguistic systems. So you're able to understand adjectives, verbs, nouns, grammar in English, but also you're able to understand grammar in Spanish. But you keep the languages separately. They're not together. You don't join them. Okay? They're with you in a separate way. Something important is that you're bilingual. You can switch from one system to another one quickly without effort. So means usted puede cambiar perfectamente de un idioma a otro idioma sin tener esfuerzo. So that means be bilingual. I'm speaking in English, but right now I can speak in Spanish. And for me, it's normal. So I'm not saying, I'm going to say this. Let me think. If you are thinking, you are not bilingual, sorry. Then says, you can translate the message from one system to another. Okay. Usted puede traducir el mensaje de un idioma a otro idioma. So you can do it simultaneously, very fast, without hesitating. So that means you're able to translate or to not to translate, to transfer the message from one language to another. If you are bilingual. So as I have explained here, being bilingual is not that you are able just to say two words. Means to speak a language perfectly. You can switch the two languages. You can transfer the messages and you separate the language. You don't mix them. Even though you are able to use the two languages, you cannot say, I estudio tomorrow. So we don't speak in that way. Or we speak in English or we speak Spanish. So we separate them. Maybe we're able to switch very quickly and we don't need to like change. This is English, this is Spanish. No, you do it unconsciously. That's being bilingual. But let us see the factors that influence to learn a language. First, the age. If you are a kid, it's going to be easier for you to learn a language. It doesn't mean that adults cannot do it. No, it can do it. But later on, it's going to take more time. Why? Because kids are not afraid to make mistakes. And adults, we are afraid to make mistakes. Then the acquisition of context. It's not the same if I'm learning English here in El Salvador that if I go to the United States. The time's going to be less. Why? Because in the United States, the surrounding they're going to have is English. Here, I'm going to be in the classroom speaking English, but out, I'm going to be speaking Spanish. So it's going to take more time. Then, the degree of use. No one is going to speak English without practicing. Miss, I'm going to go to the classes to learn English, but I'm going to be in silence. If you are in silence, believe me, you will never learn the language. Miss, but I don't know. Miss, but I'm afraid to speak. Miss, but they're going to laugh. Forget about those things. You must practice, 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 practice. Then the level of knowledge. When I mean the level of knowledge means the level of knowledge of the language. It's not the same that if I know just simple grammar rules, that I know advanced rules. So for that is very important. And then bilingual mode. That means that all the time I'm going to be thinking in English and Spanish. And something that is very important to clarify. When you're speaking in English, you are not translating your mind. Imagine if I'm translating any word I'm saying right now. I was going to be, ¿cómo se dice esto? How do I say this? So be careful. Bilingual means it doesn't matter. In English or Spanish, you're able to speak fluency very fast without hesitating. Then I would like to make an exercise with you. I want that you classify the following in the boxes. I'm going to give you words from English and Spanish. You have to place them in English or Spanish. For example, perro, gato, rata, monkey, cat, dog, pollo, chicken, rat, mono, kangaroo, vaca, canguro, cow. Are you able to place those words in those categories? ¿Son capaces de clasificarlas en inglés o en español? That's what I need that you do. We're going to have 2 minutes to do this, okay? If you have any question, let me know. If you want, you can take a picture of the screen because I'm going to stop sharing this. Does any of you can tell me the list of words that you have in a Spanish list? No? So I'm going to share the answer with you. I gave you these list of words in two categories, English and or Spanish. Okay, so you were able to pass the word, sorry. We have in English, cat, dog, chicken, rat, monkey, cow, and kangaroo. In Spanish, you say gato, perro, pollo, rata, mono, vaca. En canguro, que está al final. So it is not necessary that you translate the words, but in your mind, you classify them in different ways. So in this way that I have shown you, the words are organized in your mind. Then let us talk about the 10 benefits of being bilingual person. Okay? First, increase your brain power. So it means you're healthy and sharp. So people that we speak two languages, we are multitask, we pay more attention, we are better at solving problems, we're very creative, and we are good at memorizing things. For example, a shopping list can be very easier for you to do it and go to a supermarket without the list. So the first benefit is that you increase your brain power. Then we have the second one. Okay, according to this is that if you study English or you speak two language, it gives your children an academic advantage. So it means it's easier for you to learn. A study has shown that bilingual children can outperform monolingual children in a number of such areas. So the effect of bilingualism can help to improve child's education development, cognitive functions, social skills, literacy, and emotional skills. So it has a positive effect of many years to come. So it means if you're bilingual, you can be more sociable with other people. You can play more. You can work in teams. So other skills that goes together if you speak a second language. Then says it's increase the awareness of other cultures. When we learn a language, we just don't learn just the vocabulary. We also learn the way that they speak, how they say their jokes, the culture. For example, today in the United States, they are celebrating Thanksgiving. If you know English, you must know what that means Thanksgiving, Día de Acción de Gracia. So you know what is Thanksgiving, how they celebrate, what they eat. Because when you are reading a book, they introduce the culture of that country. You cannot learn a language without knowing the customs, the ideas, the perspective, and in general, the culture of the second language. Because some things are very hard to understand if you don't know the culture. For example, here in El Salvador, if I talk about the Siwanaba to a person who speaks in English, believe me, he will never understand what that means Siwanaba. But here in Spanish, if I talk to any of you about Siwanaba, because most of you speak Spanish too, you must understand what Siwanaba means. Because it's part of the culture. Okay? For example, in Christmas here, in Christmas in El Salvador, we eat panes con pollo. Maybe some people say, what is panes con pollo? Maybe Guatemalan people, Honduras people, Costa Rican people, they ask that question. But for us to eat panes con pollo is very common because it's part of the culture. Or to wear new outfits. I heard that only El Salvador is the only country that wears new outfits for Christmas Eve. So that's part of our culture. Then it makes travel easier and more enjoyable. If you are or inspired to be together, you want to learn about a new country, a language is a must. So you must learn English. And I'm going to say English because English, anywhere that you go, most of the people speak English. They speak Spanish and English, Italian and English, Portuguese and English. So English is like the main or the principle of the global language, let us say. So if you're traveling, the way you will have fun, because maybe you don't know the people, but if you know how to speak with them, how to communicate with them, you're going to be able to make more friends. You're going to be authentic, but you're going to be able to talk directly with the locals and make more friends through the world. So knowing that what food to order with pointing the picture, because sometimes I want this, and if you know how to say it, so for that reason, learning a language, it gives you a bonus. Okay. Then the other one says that it improves competitive in the job market. There are also here very famous are the teleperformance, size, in other places that you can go to work just because you speak English. So speaking a second language can provide more job opportunities. If they're going to hire someone and we have two candidates, one that speaks English and the other that doesn't, believe me, the best choice is going to be this person who speaks English. Why? Because if a client comes, they want that someone who speaks English attend the person. So communication in the workplace is important, and especially for the companies. Why? Because most of the owners are not from El Salvador. Can be from Taiwan, from Brazil, from Italy, other countries. By you speak English, you're going to be able to speak with them because English is international. So for people that are hiring employers, consider bilingualism is a high priority. So be able to speak with foreign clients or customer. Foreign clients means clients from another country. Is considered a big advantage too. Then we have find it easy to learn a third language. It says according to a study that if you speak a language, then you speak a second language, for you it's going to be easier to learn a third language. Because learning a single language helps you to reflect on your own language. You compare. When we are learning a language, we compare. Lápiz, pencil. Quiero ir al baño. I go to the bathroom. So you're comparing. So when you are comparing, what happens? You're understanding how the language works. You're comparing how Spanish works and how English works. I know that most people say, es que el inglés es bien difícil. They say that word, but it's not difficult. Maybe you haven't understand how it works. Also, if you know how to speak a second language, you already passed the experience. So you know the way. For example, if for first time you had to write an essay and you don't know the steps to write an essay, it's going to be hard for you. So you learn, you read about how to write an essay, and you write your first essay. Even though you make some mistakes, you learn how to write an essay. What happens if I say second time, their homework, you have to write another essay? It's going to be easier for you because you already know how to write an essay. So right now, you're not going to just find information about how to write an essay. No, you're going to investigate about the topic that you're supposed to write in the essay because you already got the experience that we need. So if you want to learn a third or fourth language, it's going to be easier for you if you speak two languages. Then we have, you can better raise your kids bilingual. Raising your kids to be bilingual may help them to acknowledge. So something important is that if you know how to speak English, you can teach your kids, you can teach your family. And also, sometimes people that speak English use this. When you don't want that other people understand what I'm saying, say in English. So if you have next to you someone who is speaking English and you want that the other people around knows what you're saying, say it in English. They will don't understand. So for that reason, it's very important to be bilingual. So if you have a kid, you don't go to pay academic, you can teach that little boy or little girl how to speak the language. So you save money too. So your kid at the end is going to become bilingual too, like you. And they're going to learn la daily in Spanish. You don't need to be explaining, es que se dice así, así. No, it's not necessary. You're going to learn through process. So they're going to learn in a natural way, like we learned Spanish. Then we have you stay mentally stronger for longer. Ah, very good. Says recent study revealed that bilingual people brains age more slowly. Ah, and therefore they live longer. So means if we speak two languages, we live more. Okay? And also bilingual can delay the problems about Alzheimer's, and dementia. This disease can be delayed, not made. Delay. If you are able to speak a second language. So if you know someone who is getting Alzheimer's or dementia, send it to learn a second language because it's going to be helpful. Why? Because we memorize many things. How we learn the list of verbs? By memorizing. Repeating, and saying the same things many times. And that way we do it. Then other things about being bilingual. Improve your social life. Speaking a second language opens up a whole range of new social opportunities and can enhance your social skills and confidence. So imagine you don't know a person, but that person needs that you translate something to a mother tongue. And you speak English, so you can do it. And then you continue speaking. If you're in a table, imagine a client comes and he only speaks English, and you're the only person from the company that speaks English. So you're going to be able to talk to him. But also you're going to be able to enjoy with him, to joke with him. Because we don't speak just academic like, say this. No, we say jokes. We talk about family, we talk about business. When we are in a social group, we talk about many things, not just about jokes. Even though, miss, but I'm working. Okay. But we are humans, no machines. So the more languages that you understand, the more people you can converse with and more meaningful. And also you can close relationships, open relationships. Why? Because you're able to speak a second language. What else can I tell you? Yeah, it can make you more attractive. According to some scientific studies, okay, being bilingual should boost your confidence in the daily market. For example, a Valentine's Day survey done by the language software providers Rutgers Language revealed that 79 of people think someone who is bilingual is more attractive. So it means is more intelligent. Everybody wants to be near to a person that is intelligent. To speak a second language can make you feel that you are intelligent too. So I would like to know if you have any questions. So if you don't have any questions, it has been really a pleasure being with you. And that's it. Thanks, Miss, for inviting me. It has been a pleasure.